So, hello everyone, and how's it going? So, today we will discuss the Deloitte interview preparation and my experience that how can you prepare. Deloitte is another consultancy firm for which you can prepare, and there is a good chance that it will be visiting your campus during campus placements. You can also apply off campus, and there is a good chance it has already visited your campus. So what all we are going to do, what are the interview rounds, how to prepare for each and every phase of the interview. Then difficulty level, this is the most important aspect, because whatever topics I tell you, whatever context I tell you, how much you have to study, how much in depth you have to study. Like, should you go to Geeks for Geeks, should you refer YouTube videos, how much time you should spend on learning these things, should you solve 10 questions, 20 questions, that is an exclusively important part of your preparation. You should not waste time if you do not have to prepare for too much difficulty. Then my interview experience and whatever else I have to discuss, we'll do that too. So first, these are the three rounds. Clearly, the aptitude, whosoever clears that are invited to the jam, just a minute round, and then we move to the interview plus HR round. Whatever technical questions or puzzle questions they Deloitte has to ask to you are asked in the round three. Each of the rounds are like knockout rounds. You don't move to the next round if you failed the previous one. So coming to the round one, that is aptitude. It is a typical MCAT examination. And I should tell you that if you should prepare for MCAT examination really properly, because that a lot of companies these days have first hurdle as the MCAT examination, and you can give a lot of time to preparation for these all topics that I have mentioned in the slide here, because these are completely general for all the companies. It doesn't matter which company comes to your college, the first round is always gonna be aptitude. So it doesn't matter how much coding and everything you are preparing, you should focus on these two. So we in aptitude, like in the round one, in our typical MCAT examination, we have computer engineering questions, which I have in this slide. We have a bit of CS coding language output based questions, and we have the general aptitude that you'll find in RS Agarwal. So these are the topics that you have to do for like mathematical and solving related topics that you have to do. Verbal English, like very easy level questions are asked for English. Coming to the logical, they are also of medium difficulty. Quantitative also, like for each and every topic, I would say that you should solve around 15 questions. More than that is not necessary. Solve 15 questions, and you should have clarity in your mind that how you are solving them, properly solve them without help of anyone. So these are few of the topics that I have mentioned, the important topics I have mentioned, and you should solve these in this particular order only. So working time is very basic: ages, LCM, HCF, pipes and systems, profit loss ratio and proportion. Any company will ask these. And refer to these resources I've mentioned at the bottom, like RS Agarwal, indiabix.com. Indiabix.com is very good for MCQ based question whenever you are trying. Then you can also give the mock test on testbook.com. Prepare these topics for the verbal part, that is for English preparation. Coming to the your computer engineering topics, so when we come to these, uh, prepare some topics from operating systems, DBMS, computer networks. In a typical MCAT examination, these all topics are covered. Now the important point is in how much depth you should cover these topics. See, you should cover as many topics as possible, but not in too much depth. Just superfluous, just the basic of it, just a few examples. Of course, in some cases, like their scheduling algorithms, so you should know that for like for FCFS or SJF, what are the algorithm, how to solve, for cache algorithms, how you can solve those questions. Otherwise, A lot of questions from operating systems are theoretical questions and you can do them easily. On DBMS, of course, the important part are acid properties and normalization questions. You will be given a few tables and you will be asked that in which normal form is the given table. Then these are on deadlock. Deadlock is one of the favorite topics of any company to ask you some questions, and then primary keys, candidate keys are also important. Then coming to the computer networks topic, then OSI layers, you should prepare OSI layers completely. You should remember the names of the layer. They can ask you the order for these, and the most important protocols also you should remember. Then yes, addressing, classful addressing, classless addressing, and how you do a subnetting, that can also be asked. And some popular algorithms like what happens in a three-way handshake. For this, like computer networks, I will recommend you that for these you should also give quizzes on sanfoundry.com. It is really helpful and it will brush you up with all the topics that there are. So you have, and then you can again study a bit and then again give quizzes. So keep testing your knowledge, that whatever you are studying, you should learn those things. If you're not remembering them, then they are less useful. And also on Geeks for Geeks, you can prepare a particular operating system topic, but also you can search Geeks for Geeks last minute preparation. That will give you a summary of the complete operating system, like Geeks for Geeks last minute operating system, or for DBMS, or for computer networks, like that. Coming to the coding language, mostly in these it is possible that at the end of the aptitude you will have one or two aptitude coding questions. You have to write the code and solve them. It happens in a typical MCAT examination. It is required for you to solve those questions, but sometimes they are not present depending on the company. Then within the examination, like along with the quantitative and these computer questions, you will have also MCQ questions on programming based upon the OOPS, object oriented programming. Like they will give you part of a code, a class is defined, its objects are defined, so how will they behave if we run a particular print statement or a for loop on the object. So that all things you have to study. Typical output based questions you should try, particularly in C and C++ language, because on that language only asked. In Python they never asked output based questions. Then syntax is really important for this output based questions. Like there are a number of ways to define a variable, how a for loop behaves under different conditions. Like okay, so once you clear the first round, the MCAT examination, you move to the second round, that is jam, just a minute. In this, what you have, it is not like a group discussion. When physical interviews are taken, we have group discussion, but in this case there will be everybody is given a minute. You are provided with a random topic, and then they will give you this topic, 1 minute of preparation, then you speak for a minute. Try to speak slowly, smoothly, organize your thought before speaking. Do not fumble a lot. Do not do that, just speak for 20 seconds and stop. Do not do that. Speak it, the content actually doesn't matter. You can uh, also talk away from the content, very general stuff you can talk. It is okay, but keep talking, sound smart, put your own views. Don't think that I don't know about this topic, what is this topic. It's okay if you talk completely wrong about the topic. It's okay, it's fine, but you should talk. That is important, because it is a consultancy firm, so they want to know that can you communicate with the client. That is an important and integral part of any consultancy firm, that your communication should be like fluent. Then in interview you are asked nothing technical. One or two questions might be asked, but you won't be asked to code something, or basic question on operating system can be asked, but mostly that is also not done. it also depends on the interviewer. If he's from a computer engineering background, if he does work related to software engineering day-to-day life, then he might ask you a few questions uh, corresponding to that. Otherwise, mostly that are not asked. You can also go to Geeks for Geeks and look up a few puzzle questions. Like I can tell you, I was asked that which date in the current year is a palindrome. So simple difficulty level puzzle question, you can call that, just a simple question. If you're nervous, then only you will uh, get that wrong. Otherwise, it is a fairly easy question. Then question on your resume will be asked. All the projects that you have mentioned, all the competition certifications, and of course, at the start of the interview, they will ask you to introduce yourself, and you should introduce yourself very explicitly, clearly, slowly, confidently, and in its entirety. Like, don't think that I'm mentioning too much things. He might don't want to listen. Just keep speaking as much as you want to. Mention all the projects. Give the interesting part of your project, like gist of the project. Like, what is the interesting part on your project? Like, did you earn some revenue? Did you earn an award for it? Was there some interesting technology used? Don't tell the boring stuff related to the project, some difficulty you faced and other things. Then prepare counter questions, obviously, like do mock interviews with your friends and uh, family if possible. Then mention technical terms, try to sound smart, of course, because that is important, and because it is a consultancy firm, as I have mentioned, so you should always sound very clear and professional all the time. Like, assume as if you're talking to a client, you're working full time at Deloitte. How will you behave like that? Then you do not have to prepare the operating system and other related questions for this round, but one or two can be asked. But mostly it is a very general interview, like just about you, just about your resume. A few behavioral question can be asked because what happens in Deloitte, like especially for the even the last year, what has happened is they do not conduct interview and then HR round. There's just this round alone. This is the last round of your whole interview process. So at the end of the interview, they will ask you a few behavioral questions, like they give you a situation and how will you respond to that situation. You'll be asked a story from your past. So it is necessary that you have some scenarios in your mind. You have thought of some incidents, some time when you were facing difficulty in your project, or what all things you have to do, what all mistake you have done, or in future what you want to do. These kind of behavioral questions you should prepare. And I have also mentioned a few sample questions here. And if you're preparing, you should go on the first link, that is algoexpert.io, behavioral questions, sources to prepare. That is one of the best sources to prepare. Next up, we have some more HR questions, like basic, general, standard HR questions, like why do you want to join Deloitte, and like the same questions that I have mentioned for ZS, the same questions I would recommend you to prepare for this one, like 3 4 reasons you should have why you want to join Deloitte. Know about their work culture. It is one of the among the big four consultancy firms. That you should know in which year it was formed, who is the founder, some story about it, how many employees it has. These things you should know. And whenever you are mentioning that why do you want to get into that company, you should talk about their work culture, because not only that they will realize that you know about them, they will realize that you like that. Okay. You should all the general things. You can also mention that all the technical and professional growth that you are looking for in the next coming years, you think you can align that with your Deloitte career. Some questions on your resume can be asked, and you should prepare more behavioral question for this one. because this is kind of combined with your HR questions. Also prepare a question for your interviewer, because at the end of the interview they will ask that what you want to ask them, and you should have a smart question like what kind of profile or what kind of technology you will be able to work at Deloitte, that you or a regular day at Deloitte sounds like what. You can ask these questions or something else if you have something better. Okay, so that is the end of this whole interview process for Deloitte, and these are some of the upcoming videos that we will be putting on the channel. Like for ZS, we'll be putting on another video. There have been some updates in the ZS interview process for Deloitte also, and these are some of the other companies. And we are preparing interview for Persistent, 159 Solution, Quantify, Veritas. So if you want us to put a video of some particular company before then, like in the next coming week or something, you should mention that in the comments below, so we can bring the video to you as soon as possible. Also, if you have any kind of questions, you can ask in the comments also. Like many people have been posting questions on Instagram, and that's cool. But also you can ask on the comments also. That will be fine too. Also, because there other people can also know, right? Like other people might have the same question, so it will be answered for everybody. And also care to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much. That's it.